Hello, everyone. It's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains episode review. This time, we will be going over episode 109 of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. I do apologize about the delay for this review. I was in the Poconos. I just got back kind of late last night. Watched the episode early on Friday, and we are reviewing it now late Friday. You'll probably be seeing it early Saturday. The Pandor versus Ai duel, and I am joined by my friend Pete. Pete, how you doing, man?
Not bad. Thanks for having me.
No problem, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was an interesting duel. I thought a very, very enjoyable and action-packed episode, and a lot of good plot points that I really enjoyed.
Yes.
The setting also, awesome.
The plane duel? Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Dueling on airplanes. I mean,
I love this real-world dueling.
Yeah.
I want more.
Yeah, that is the first real-world duel, which I love because it's between two non-humans
Of course.
in the real world.
Of course.
But Pandor was great. You said to me before I watched the episode you loved her voice actress,
Yes.
which I'm pretty sure her VA is South Korean, and it might be one of the I don't want to say first because I'm not positive, but it's definitely one of the only voice actresses in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or voice actors for that matter that is South Korean. At least I believe she's South Korean because the name is very Korean sounding more so than Japanese sounding, but she was fantastic. Pandor's character was amazing. My favorite part of this episode probably had to be when she actually showed sympathy for Ai, and she gave Ai a chance to basically give up the key code, give up the consciousness data of the human, so we just got our answer as to what happened to Spectre, to Gnome, to all the characters that
The same thing that happens to all of them.
It's what Bowman did, right? The consciousness data, now Ai's just taking it.
Yep.
So they're not dead.
They're never really dead.
No.
Yeah.
You don't get permadeaths often. And whether the Ignis are actually permadeaths, we'll wait and see. A lot of theories with that, even though
still leaning more towards they are.
Yeah, I would say so. Even though I think it would be cool if they did get revived,
Yeah.
but that's a discussion for another time. And so she begs Ai, like, please, and she sounded pretty sincere too. Like we're basically the same blood. And if you think about it, Ryokan created Pandor. Ryokan's father created Ai. So in a way, it would be like it's kind of like father-daughter, right? A little bit.
Yeah, and it's like a lineage being passed down.
Yeah. So I love that it's kind of, they are kind of made of the same flesh and blood in a way, which is really, really cool. They're family to
blood
a
of
degree.
my blood kind of thing.
Exactly. They're family, but they're not really family. And so Ai says, not doing it. Another great plot point was the whole coexistence, whether it's possible or not, where Ai says, I'm not ruling it out, but it's not possible for me. And you can just tell the amount of grief, survivor's guilt. I know I've used that keyword so much, that phrase, but the amount of guilt that Ai has, he really does blame himself for the death of all the Ignis. Lightning's words actually affected him massively because he truly, or maybe it was Bowman's words, he truly does believe that he was the one that closed off the path of the Ignis.
Yeah.
And that has really gotten to him. And so from that perspective, it's almost like he'd rather die than just live his life normally. That's why he says, all I have left is dueling. This is all I can do until basically someone defeats me and puts me out of my misery. So the dialogue was great. Topologina was really cool. It was like a topologic archetype spin-off, and I think it gave some pretty good support to the topologics. It's funny, we only saw one turn from Pandor, one turn from Ai, and then it was over.
Very long turns, especially from Pandor.
Yeah, it's just so funny because you're watching, obviously, Duel Monsters for the first time, and in an episode, you'll see 20 turns in an episode.
Yeah.
Not like that anymore. Like, it is, dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime has changed so much. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. Obviously, we'll start getting into the nitty-gritty of it. But what did you think of the episode?
I've really enjoyed it. I like I said at the top of the episode, I thought the setting was excellent. The first and foremost. Being on the top of a jet, obviously it doesn't affect two AIs that are up there. The dialogue they had, I love that when he first gets hit Ai, like the massive points he takes, he's affected because he's in the real world. He literally flies off the plane.
Yeah.
And he uses that, Soltis somehow stretching Mr. Fantastic arm to hold onto the plane. I love he just goes, it seems like this thing is filled with a ton of features. Thank God they had that one.
Yeah.
And like, it's just so weird that like all these things that are in the Soltis.
His comedy is also incredible.
Yeah.
Like that she should use the monster, Topologina Nabi, which doesn't even exist. And even sometimes his jokes like catch Pandora off guard, where she is like, what is going on? Like, is this even a serious duel? And so I love that they haven't, like, he's not just cold and callous. Like, he still has that humor, that fun side of him. It's just a lot more unnerving now, given the context of what he's trying to do.
Yeah, because I feel like his humor is dark humor. And like, yeah, it could have some ridiculousness to it, but it's always, I feel, it makes you uneasy. Because there's moments of like, oh, he's genuinely joking, and then there's other moments that it's like a genuine joke, but like there's a sinister thing he's saying behind it. Well, so like it's really unnerving.
Yeah, well, how the episode ended was almost like a bit of a joke,
right?
Because he touches the head of the Zizens, and then he walks through the door, and you see Blue Maiden and Akira turn around, and he goes, Zizens, found you.
Exactly.
And then that's how
which
the
is
episode ends.
really terrifying
yeah.
to hear
and
that.
he does it in like a playful manner. So it's really enjoyable.
The other one I loved is when he beats Pandor, he goes back into the jet before he gets to the Zizens. And I believe he said the line of like, oh, you should have used Topology Geo, whatever it was, or G or whatever, even though it doesn't exist.
Right, Topologina Nabi, I think that was the recurring joke.
And he said that, like, Pandor's already dead.
And
he already says, well, might have won if he did that. Like, he's always
and then he
doing
even
that.
says to himself, like, although I'm not even sure that card exists.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Pandora, speaking of which, we saw Trisbina again. We saw Bomber Dragon, two of the top topologic monsters. And to summon both of them in one turn, I mean, it really did look like she was going to win this duel.
She got him down to 200.
And what I loved is I had no cards. By the way, Ai's Fire Phoenix, that thing has 29 effects.
So OP.
That thing, it had a lot of effects that were very situational for this duel. But like that thing had like 29 effects.
Yeah.
And so that was Dark Templar, also a very good monster. And I do love seeing these Ignis stirs and the archetype expanded on, which we will see, obviously, in the next episode. Another thing that I loved, though, is when Ai is about to take his final turn, he says, it seems like I'm always losing these duels. Am I a bad duelist? Ignoring the am I a bad duelist rhetorical question part, every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist seems like they are losing.
Yep.
It's just such a cliche thing.
Yep.
So I think it was so funny that he almost like broke the fourth wall in a way to say that, like, oh man, I'm about to lose. Like, what's going to happen?
Yep.
We know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You're going to pull the cards you need, and you're going to win.
But to be fair, like, what is it called? Like OTK when you come back and you take the one turn shot,
yep.
right? So that's very Yusaku, right? So you have that. I like that having the Borolo drag and stuff like that. So you have callbacks of Revolver because it's his creation. I love when Ai keeps calling him Professor Revolver.
Yeah, Revolver Sensei.
I think that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But the one thing I thought was interesting that I thought I was going to win the bet in this episode,
right?
Was
you bet draw no result.
Right, the plane is landing. So I'm like, all right, we're getting a no result right now. Like that's it, and that's exactly what Pandor's method was. I don't know how that exactly would have worked, because was she hoping that if they landed that I would just get scared and run? Because he could have still finished the duel in the runway and then got to the Zizan. So I don't know exactly what her idea was by just the plane landing.
Right, was she hoping that if the plane landed
that he would like get scared and leave?
Or not only that, but that maybe the Zizans would be able to get off the plane and drive away?
I guess, but he
then
kind of can go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even in the real war, we see his power. So I don't know exactly what was going on there.
That was kind of weird.
We do have instances of like it almost was a draw or no result, right? Because like I said earlier, he almost got thrown off the plane.
Yeah.
Like if that wasn't for plot armor, we could say, right? That exactly would have happened. So there was moments where they literally teased you with that. And then, it comes into what I even though I picked the other way, I had a feeling, he was going to win because he has to meet the Zizans. And that's it. But there was a moment where I thought that was going to happen.
Where it looked like it was going to be a draw, no result.
And clearly Pandor demonstrated her ability as a great duelist.
Yeah.
We know she's not dead because she could keep, recreating herself.
It wasn't like Queen's performance. Like, she put up a fight.
Exactly. She got him down to 200 life points. She did a lot of great work. And Revolver even says the line of like, this is a real duel. Like, Pandor is made to rival the powers and the dueling ability of the Ignis.
She can go toe-to-toe with the Ignis. Another thing I loved is when Playmaker's just like, Revolver, if Pandor wins, what's going to happen to Ai?
Yeah.
And he just goes, I have no sympathy for the Ignis.
But, like, if you're Revolver and Yusaku and Soulburn in that moment, could you blame him?
No,
Look what
you
this
can't.
thing is doing.
Yeah,
you
can't
have
blame
to
him.
kill it immediately.
But another interesting thing, and again, we're trying to learn Ai's actual motives
because
and his
we
plans.
still haven't gotten there
They're
yet.
still kind of hazy. Another interesting line that he says in this episode is, I don't plan to exterminate the humans. It just might be like a causation of my plan.
Right.
But that's not his main motivation.
No.
So what is his main motivation? Is it to revive the other Ignis?
Which he could use with the technology of Soltex.
Soltex.
Maybe his idea is Soltech is probably one of the most advanced companies in the world,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Look what they created with the Soltis.
Yeah.
This might be my best chance, right? If I have access to 100% of the technology, the R&D of that company, if I become the top guy, right? That's my best chance.
Not only that, but remember, it was Sol Technologies that created the Cyburst, that created the Ignis. There might be data on how to, maybe create new Ignis.
Right,
or
and as we said, he could put them in the Soltis bodies.
Right.
However that's possible, if that was possible, if that's even the real them that comes back and not controlled by Ai,
Right.
and the personalities are Lightning-esque where he altered Wendy's.
Yeah.
Do we know if that's real Earth, real Aqua, or is it the versions that I wants them to be?
Exactly.
Are they going to see humans as threats in that possible
Right, because,
body?
if at least speaking from Flame and Aqua's perspective, if they came back, they wouldn't think, oh, humans are the enemy. They didn't think that at all in the show. And Earth was leaning towards them, too.
Exactly.
So it was really just Lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's all Lightning's fault.
It was light, yeah.
It's a meme.
Which still annoys me. But
it's
yeah.
true. Everything
It
was
is
Lightning. So, yeah, I did like the episode quite a bit. I didn't think that I would really like it this much, but it was a really good episode.
I agree. The one other thing I loved in their talks was Pandor can sense Ai's feelings.
Yeah.
So I don't know how as two AIs, how she can do that, because I don't think Ai was sensing other AI's feelings.
No.
So I thought that was a very interesting quality
a very
Pandor
good
had.
program.
When she said, you're trying to hide your feelings from me, and that stuff bothered Ai, but not even in a mad way. More like he was actively trying to hide his sadness.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want, A, that to be used as a weakness against him, but B, he's almost embarrassed of it, or he has that Survivor's Guild PTSD where he doesn't want to face those issues.
Right, that's exactly.
And so he does not like talking about that. He even says that in the beginning of the episode. Enough with this gloomy talk.
Yeah.
Let's duel. Let's have fun.
He says there's one person that he wants to know.
And it's got to be Yusaku,
It's gotta be.
right?
It's gotta be.
No, but why? They didn't do anything. The two of them banded together, made the Link 5, beat Bowman, save the world, right? What hate, what problems is he holding against Yusaku? Right? Yusaku, as far as we, in the recap episode, I think it was explained, he let Ai go. He unlocked him and he said, find your own path,
Be with
do
your
what you
friends.
want, be free, everything else. What
But
did he do that was so wrong?
That's why this is so interesting to me, because this is Lightning is the reason the Cyberse world was destroyed. It's not Yusaku's fault. It's not Revolver's fault.
No.
It's not the human's fault.
Right.
It's your own flesh and blood, your own Ignis.
And it's Lightning that created Bowman, and Bowman is the one that killed the other Ignis.
Yeah, right.
Their lives were lost because of Bowman. So it's not Yusaku's fault.
No.
It's not any of our other heroes' fault. And I understand grief has to be a hard thing to suffer through. But you know what? He lost all those other Ignis. Was it just closing the final chapter on them and he blames himself and Bowman's last words did have an effect on him? I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I believe if this is quality writing like the show has been, there has to be more to why he feels like this. More behind the reason that even if it is all grief, he sees it in a different way that we're seeing it.
Right.
Of, hey, maybe in there was a scene that we didn't see inside of Bowman where he could have straight up saved them, and he chose human beings and saving everyone over saving his friends. And maybe that's a scene we didn't see.
And then he realized after that he made a mistake.
I made a mistake because
that would be great.
I can't bring them back.
And
they
they were really the only reason that I had an existence,
Yeah.
that I had a purpose to live.
Is it all of them? Like, he sees Lightning, Windy, he sees those people
Well, it's
as
interesting
friends.
He used Lightning's name directly. He said that I'm following Lightning's path.
Which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
After you fought him for an entire season.
Yeah.
Okay, you were actively against him doing everything he did. How he is the one, and Bowman's monster that destroyed the Cyberse world. You're then going to pick up that person's footsteps.
Yeah.
That seems like, just because of that, you realize I can't coexist with humanity. You were for 2 seasons, and now you can't. I just feel like if that's all we ever get, which I don't think it will be, I think that's underdeveloped.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
like that.
Well, you know what, though? That's a topic for another day, because we don't know if that's the route they're going to go. I don't think it will be. But
we picked it that with the Pandor duel of the feelings, and I hope Pandor could come back because...
Well, so in the preview,
I
because
didn't watch.
yeah, so in the preview, it's Ai versus the Zizens, and it's basically Kusanagi, the narrator, talking about how depressed Ai is and how he's dueling his feelings away. And there's a scene where Pandor comes out of Blue Main's Duel Disc and greets him again, and he gets kind of like annoyed. And so Pandor will be back.
Yeah.
And now Pandor has all the info from her own duel with him that maybe will help.
Is it going to really stop him? I mean,
No,
let's be honest, right? This is a TV show, right?
Yeah.
What are we literally gearing up for? Yusaku versus Ai.
Mm-hmm.
You know there's no other way that can happen, most likely, barring any crazy twist.
That'll be a great duel.
You know
man.
he's going to beat the Zizens. He has to.
I agree.
Or the duel has to be interrupted by Yusaku, and so that ends up being a no result, and then it immediately starts with Yusaku.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that doesn't happen.
Yeah. It'll be good, man. But that's probably our thoughts on 109.
I
right?
would say probably so, yeah.
So, guys, please leave all your thoughts on episode 109 down below. Definitely a lot to talk about, and give us your predictions on the Zizens versus Ai as well. Excited to hear from all of you, and a special thank you to my platinum tier patrons: Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Samuel Stark, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Vincent Van Der Veen, Jordan Osceola, Smith620, RedEye, and FrostReaper, and to my diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood and Garrett Palmer, and to my Egyptian god tier patrons, Chris Swan, Syn Cloud, Matthew Kennedy ×2, and Joss Rivers. Thank you all so much to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Cannot tell you how much it helps me out, and thank you to everyone who just watches these videos, because without you guys, would not be able to do this. Pete, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This man runs a channel called Clueless Gamers. It's where I got my start. Follow it down below. Follow him on Twitter. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you're watching this kind of within its uploading period, me and my friend Cal will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern time talking Yu-Gi-Oh! We do it every Saturday at 3 p.m. We'll talk to you guys. We'll discuss more about this episode. If you're not burnt out by it, definitely check that out. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.
See you guys.
Thank you, guys.